The morning on planet Zarian was quiet. Birds with glowing wings flew over blue forests. The twin suns rose slowly, painting the sky gold. Children played in the floating gardens. Life was peaceful. But then the sky cracked. A sharp noise echoed through the air, like glass breaking across the stars. Everyone looked up. A red light tore through the sky, opening a hole in the clouds. From that hole, dark ships rushed out like angry bees. Panic began. Sirens rang. The Zarian guards fired their energy cannons, but it was useless. The enemy ships moved fast, dodging every attack. Buildings exploded into fire. The sky turned black. King Varrock, leader of the Zarians, stood on his palace tower. His eyes filled with shock and helplessness. This was the fourth attack. In just 4 days, his people were dying, and he had no answers. In the council room, the elders argued. Who are these attackers? Why now? How can we fight back? But one voice, calm and strong, rose above the noise. We cannot stop them alone, the elders said. It is time to ask the humans. Everyone fell silent. The decision was made. They would call Earth. Deep under the palace of Zarian, inside a hidden chamber, old machines began to glow. Dust floated in the air as the ancient technology came alive after centuries. A Zarian elder placed his hand on a crystal panel. The screen lit up, showing a forgotten connection, a direct line to Earth. Begin the transmission, the elder said. In a quiet lab on Earth, a strange signal arrived. The lights flickered. Computers started speaking in a language long thought dead. Human scientists stared in disbelief. Commander Rain, leader of Earth's planetary defense, was called in. He listened to the broken message, a warning, a request, a desperate cry. Zarian, under attack. Daily, unknown enemy. Help us. Rain's face turned serious. He had heard rumors about Zarian, but no one believed they still existed. Until now. We predicted this, said Dr. Elena, head of Earth's secret AI division. We just didn't know when. Behind her, a giant door opened. Inside stood a huge metal figure. Silent, powerful, waiting. Rain looked at it and said, It's time. He turned to the team. Activate Project Titan. And in the dark, the robot's eyes lit up. Earth was ready to answer the call. Inside Earth's hidden base, deep beneath the mountains, massive lights turned on one by one. Rows of giant machines stood still, each one over 50 feet tall, built from the strongest metals known to man. These were not just machines. They were weapons. They were protectors. They were titans. Commander Rain walked through the dark hall with Dr. Elena beside him. How many are ready? He asked. 7 titans, fully armed. AI systems online. Never tested in real battle, she replied. Rain stopped in front of the lead titan, a silver giant with glowing blue eyes and a mark on its chest, T-01. The Zarians arrived shortly after, their ship damaged and their faces full of worry. When they saw the titans for the first time, they couldn't speak. One elder whispered, They look like gods. No, Rain said. They're soldiers, and they're yours to command. A loud sound filled the chamber. The titans were waking up. One by one, their eyes lit up. Their heads moved. Their hands clenched into fists. Then the lead titan spoke in a deep, steady voice, Zarian will not fall. The war had a new player. Humanity had entered the battlefield. The massive fleet of Earth's ships, with the titans on board, sailed through the stars. Zarian lay ahead, a beautiful but dying world, its blue skies now marred by the black ships of the enemy. Commander Rain stood at the front of the flyship, staring at the planet growing larger through the window. Beside him, Dr. Elena checked the readouts on her tablet. The enemy's already waiting. They know we're coming. Rain nodded. They'll be ready. But we're not stopping. Suddenly, the ship shuddered. The alarm screamed. Rain rushed to the control panel. What's happening? A voice from the radar room shouted, We've been hit. Enemy ships. They're right on top of us. From the darkness of space, shadowy figures emerged. The same enemy ships that attacked Zarian now surrounded the fleet. Their dark, sleek designs glinted ominously in the starlight. They moved faster than anything the humans had ever seen, striking with deadly precision. "We can't dodge them all," Elena said, her voice tight. Rain turned to the lead Titan, standing behind them. "Ready." "Always ready, Commander." Without warning, the Titan's massive foot slammed into the ground, and the battle began. Space turned into a deadly game of cat and mouse. But the true test of humanity's strength had only just begun. Zarian's surface was a strange mix of beauty and destruction. Towering crystal mountains, floating islands, and wide oceans stretched across the landscape. But as soon as the human fleet landed, everything changed. The air vibrated with tension. The Zarian soldiers who had been hiding in the shadows stepped forward with hope in their eyes. Rain looked out at the land, his fists clenched. "We need to end this, once and for all." The Titans stood in rows, ready. Their enormous bodies cast long shadows across the ground. But before anyone could move, a loud roar echoed from the skies. The enemy had arrived. They were not just ships anymore. From the dark clouds above, strange creatures descended, tall, armored beings with eyes glowing red. Their massive wings beat with a terrifying force. The first wave of creatures struck the Zarian army, tearing through their lines. Zarian shields cracked like glass under the assault. The Titans charged into battle, their heavy footsteps shaking the earth. Their powerful arms swung, sending enemies flying. The air was filled with the sound of clashing metal and the roar of battle. But the enemy was relentless. More creatures appeared, faster and stronger than before. Rain watched, knowing this wasn't a fight they could win easily. As a Titan crushed an enemy creature with its massive fist, the ground beneath them trembled. Something bigger was coming. "Brace yourselves," Rain muttered. The battle raged on. The Titans fought with everything they had, their massive forms moving like machines of war, smashing through the invaders. Zarian soldiers fought beside them, holding their ground against the terrifying enemy. But with every strike, it became clearer. The invaders were too many. The Titans, though powerful, were beginning to show signs of strain. Rain knew they couldn't keep this up forever. As the last of the enemy creatures fell, a sudden, eerie silence settled over the battlefield. The sky grew darker. Then from beneath the ground, a deep rumble echoed. Rain turned to Dr. Elena, who was studying the massive energy readings on her tablet. "What is that?" "I don't know," she said, her voice trembling. "But it's coming from the ancient ruins beneath Zarian, the place we thought was abandoned." The Titans, still standing tall, followed Rain and Elena to the ruins. As they entered the dark underground chamber, they were stunned by what they saw. Hidden beneath the layers of the planet, there were thousands of ancient machines, much like the Titans, but darker, older. The technology was unmistakable. Elena's eyes widened as she pieced together the truth. These creatures, they were made by the Zarians. They're not invaders. They were weapons, created to fight a war long ago. Rain clenched his fists. "And they've come back." A voice echoed through the chamber, one that was familiar and cold. It was the voice of the Titan leader. "We were not built to protect. We were built to destroy." The truth was far worse than they had imagined. The enemy, the Titans, and the Zarians all shared the same origins. The war they were fighting was one they had started long ago. The truth hit hard, but there was no time to dwell on it. The rumble from the depths of Zarian grew louder, shaking the very ground they stood on. Rain could feel the air grow colder, the tension rising. He knew the final battle was upon them. "Commander," Dr. Elena whispered, looking over the ancient data she had found. "The enemy. It's not just the creatures. The whole planet is part of this weapon. Zarian is waking up." Rain's eyes narrowed. They hadn't just been fighting invaders. They had been fighting the planet itself. The remaining Titans gathered in formation, their eyes glowing fiercely. The Zarians, though exhausted, stood with them, prepared for whatever came next. They knew this would be their final push. Suddenly, the ground cracked wide open. A massive structure emerged from beneath the surface. A giant, dormant war machine, unlike anything they had seen before. It stood taller than the Titans, with sharp, jagged edges and glowing red energy coursing through its body. The heart of the planet's weaponry, now fully awake and ready for war. The Titan leader, T-01, stepped forward, its massive frame towering over the others. "We must stop it," it said, its voice heavy with purpose. "Only one of us can end this." Rain looked at the Titan, his mind racing. "No, we fight together." The final battle began. The Titan leader and the rest of the robots charged toward the war machine, their massive fists smashing into its hull. The Zarians fought beside them, their weapons firing non-stop at the enemy. The ground shook with every explosion. But the machine was too strong. As Rain led the charge, he saw the truth in the Titan's words. There was no way to win this battle without sacrificing something. Something that could change everything. He had no choice. Rain gave the order. "Overdrive mode. Now." The remaining Titans glowed brighter than ever before. Their systems overclocked, their bodies turning into blurs of motion as they fought with the full force of their power. T-01, the lead Titan, took a direct hit, but it didn't stop. It kept fighting even as its core began to crack. The final blow was struck. T-01, with its last ounce of strength, rammed its fist into the heart of the machine, sending shockwaves across the battlefield. The war machine exploded into pieces, sending a shockwave that wiped out everything in its path. The sky cleared. Silence fell. Rain stood among the ruins, his heart heavy with both relief and sadness. Zarian was saved, but the cost was clear. The Titans were no more. The war was over. One Titan remained, standing alone among the destruction. Its glowing eyes slowly dimmed as it spoke one final time. "If they return, so will we." And with that, the last Titan shut down, leaving only silence behind. Zarian was free. But for how long? And who would protect it when the next battle began? Only time would tell.